Now let's get to the NBA and some talk between NBA greats, past and present. Most notably, the one and only Ant-Man himself, Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Hall of Famer Irvin Magic Johnson. Edwards was recently asked by the Wall Street Journal how his generation of basketball players compared to the ones that came before him. Look at this quote right here. Edwards replied by saying, quote, "I didn't watch it back in the day, so I can't speak on it," Edwards said. "They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill," end quote.
You know, this is how you know that the mindset of some of these kids in this weird-ass generation, this confused-ass generation, the mindset is just like a paradox. They don't even meet. It's real contradictory. How can you say that you never saw it but continue to speak on it after you say that you can't speak on it? How can you say that you never saw it but proceed to say they didn't have any skill, only Michael Jordan? All this does is speak to this level of cognitive dissonance and just the mindless aspect of this generation. A lot of these kids, they mindless. They don't even make sense with what they say. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. And no disrespect to the young brother Anthony Edwards, special talent, God gifted, but he's like, he comes off as an idiot with what he's saying, because you say you never saw it but proceed to speak on it. This is how you know you just going off of regurgitation and conventional wisdom and not using your own mind. You didn't see it, so how can you say that the people wasn't skilled? That's like me saying I didn't see The Godfather. It's trash. How can I say it's trash? I didn't see the shit. It's like, what sense does that make? That type of logic, you don't really, you didn't really get this type of logic from younger players back then. This is how you know that it's a generational thing. This generation of kids is kind of confusing. Like, these kids is confused these days. And it makes sense, especially with these days with everything that's being pushed, the whole transgender stuff, all that nonsense. It's part and parcel. These kids is confused, and this is like an example of it. You say you never saw the era back in the day, you never saw the play back in the day, but proceed to say they wasn't skilled. The players wasn't skilled. It was only Michael Jordan. All this does is speak to how low level this generation of kids are when it comes to their mindset. That's like conventional wisdom shit. It's just, I'm just gonna go off of the basic, like, everybody know Michael Jordan, you know? And then you say, oh, Kobe came along, so people started to really open their eyes. It's like, what? You didn't even see it, so how can you say that? Like, you don't even, you can't, you're not even starting from a premise that makes any sense. So anything that you say from what you just said in the beginning doesn't make sense. It's null and void. You didn't see it. So how can you even like make that type of, how can you even like conjure that up? Where you say, oh, well, I believe the players wasn't skilled. I don't think they were skilled. You didn't see that, you didn't watch it. So make it make sense. That's my whole thing about it. I wouldn't even combat this, because all the kid is just letting you know that he's kind of simple-minded, but he's a young kid. But still, this is just simple-minded.